coming at you at this moment in the bottom of the ninth inning. Rangers up 7-0. Hopefully they can finish this one out. Sure is nice to get a good bounce back. We're going to go ahead and get things rolling in just a little bit. We're going to recap everything in this game. We're going to go through all the key moments, the scoring. We're going to go through the box score, talk about all the Rangers players that contributed to get to the point where the Rangers are at now, leading 7 in the bottom of the ninth inning. All that in just a second. First, all y'all who have been here before, I'm sure you know this, but here at Right On Rangers, we cover pretty much everything sports, but we put a little bit of an extra emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Rangers and especially the Rangers during baseball season. Thanks for joining today. Hopefully, we're going to finish out a good Rangers win here together. Again, Rangers leading the Marlins 7-0 in the bottom of the ninth inning. And we've got Garrison Garabito in to close it out. Of course, Garabito, you probably remember, made a debut probably about 4 or 5 days ago. Actually, was a pretty solid debut. It was a game that the Rangers actually won. And he is now on to finish out the ninth inning with the Rangers up 7-0. Not off to a stellar start, as it looks like we have got an extra base hit here. Josh Bell doubles, sharp fly ball to Adolis Garcia. So not an ideal start for Garabito, but fortunately we've got 7 runs to work with here. So the rookie is going to hopefully be okay and be able to recover from a leadoff double here. We'll see what happens, but we're going to finish this one out with you guys. And like I said, we're going to start going through all of the key moments in the game. We'll go through first through ninth inning, basically, as we go through the ninth inning. The bottom of the ninth here is the Marlins attempt a little bit of a comeback here. So first of all, let's start with this. Mike Lorenzen, absolutely dominant today in his start against Miami. Believe that I checked the numbers before the game, and we had Lorenzen with like a 260-ish ERA career against Miami. So clearly this is a team that he does not mind playing against. And Mike Lorenzen went ahead and just added on to his already very, very solid career numbers against Miami. You love to see it. Lorenzen goes 6 1/3 innings tonight and only, I believe, allowed a total of 5 hits. And Lorenzen limited the walks today. I think that was kind of a big thing, honestly, for Mike Lorenzen, because one of, I think, the biggest knocks on him this year, and look, there's not a lot. Lorenzen has been an incredible pitcher for us, so there's not a lot of knocks on Mike Lorenzen at all. But I will say this, Mike Lorenzen has done a great job limiting the damage, even when runners get on base. And today only allows 7 base runners through nearly 7 innings. I think you got to take that today from Mike Lorenzen. Just continues to give this Rangers club outstanding depth. We all did not expect Mike Lorenzen to be contributing in a big way for this Rangers team, even at the start of spring training. So to have Mike Lorenzen pitching this way, doing so well up to this point, you got to take it. And Mike Lorenzen, by the way, ERA down to 2.96 on the season. That's incredible. To get 2.96 ERA out of Mike Lorenzen, I definitely would not have predicted that he would be sub 3 this many starts into his Rangers career. It's no disrespect to Mike Lorenzen. I don't know what his career ERA is, but it's not below 3. Let me tell you that right now. So to see Mike Lorenzen with the sub 3 ERA, it's a beautiful thing. And we all know with the Rangers that the problem has never been the the pitching staff really this year, the starting rotation. It's always been the offense, the struggles, a little bit of middle relief, but I would still say the number one culprit of the Rangers having a losing record at this point in the year, the number one culprit is the offense. And the offense, of course, pouring in 7 runs today. And here's what I love today about the offense, getting a little bit off track as we segue from talking about Mike Lorenzen's gem. The offense continued to tack on and add on runs today, and that's something that they've really struggled with up to this point. So you have Texas at 7-0. They scored in the third, the fourth. They scored in the seventh inning. They scored in the ninth inning. So you're having Texas tack on runs late. And that's something they've had really a pretty big problem with throughout the year. I saw a really, really troubling stat. Meant to talk about it last night. Had a crazy night last night. Was not able to get onto a live. Was watching the Rangers. That was depressing. Was watching the Stars. That was depressing. And then the night just got away from me. So I'll comment on a few things from the game last night, as ugly as it was at times. We'll get to that in just a second. But one stat that they showed in the game last night was that in the seventh inning, the Rangers have a minus 39 run differential. That means they're outscored in the seventh inning collectively by all their opponents by 39 runs in that seventh inning. Today in the seventh, the Rangers improve upon that slightly. So the run differential is now down to minus 38. So the Rangers are only getting outscored by 38 runs by their opponents in the seventh inning after today's result. So I was glad to see in the seventh inning and beyond the Rangers continuing to tack on. And that minus 39 run differential, I think, is important for a couple of different reasons. First of all, what that shows you is that you have got a Rangers team, as I said, that can't tack on runs late. That's why you've got a minus 39, now minus 38 run differential. You can't tack on late. The other thing that minus 39 run differential tells me in the seventh inning, collectively this entire season, again, the Rangers rank dead last in the major leagues in this category, run differential in the seventh inning. What it also tells me is that the bullpen is not doing well in the seventh. And that kind of makes sense, right? So you've got Robertson, you've got Yates, kind of your eighth inning, kind of your ninth inning guys. And the Rangers are really struggling to bridge to Robertson and then to bridge to Yates in the seventh inning. And Leclerc, I think, is going to have to be that guy for us. If you look at all the different options, I really don't know who else you're going to want in that role besides Leclerc. I mean, it is what it is. It sucks that that's the best we got. But look, Jose Leclerc, I know there's a lot of slander out there about him from Rangers fans. I do like Jose Leclerc, and like it or not, in the playoffs, yes, the Altuve home run definitely sticks out in a lot of people's minds. We're talking about game 5 of the ALCS in Arlington. We had a 2-run lead. Isn't that correct at the time? 1-2-run lead. Leclerc comes in, gives up the absolute bomb to Altuve. It wasn't really a bomb, kind of a wall scraper, honestly. But still, I think a lot of Rangers fans, that moment sticks out. By and large, though, the entire postseason, Leclerc, although he's always going to be a guy that has traffic on the base paths when he comes in, Jose Leclerc was actually pretty solid in the postseason, and he can be a really solid pitcher. We need Leclerc doing well. I haven't gone on a Jose Leclerc defense rant in a while, and I don't know if this is going to be one today, but I will say this. Rangers fans have got to get behind Leclerc. They're not going to be adding anybody in the near future that's going to be better than Leclerc. If you bench Leclerc or if you DFA him, I see a lot of stuff online about Leclerc. DFA, send him down, trade him. There's not a lot you can do at this point in the season. You need Leclerc doing well. So I root for Leclerc every time he comes on. I hope he does well. I really, really want to see him start to be the guy that was shutting things down in the postseason. Albeit, again, he makes things interesting every time he's out there. Today, looks like he didn't allow a single base runner and he struck out the side. So Jose Leclerc, I must say, is going to need to be that seventh inning guy. I don't think we have any other better options right now. I would love to hear who you would like to be the seventh inning bridge guy. Drop it in the comments if you think there's another guy that deserves more of a chance in the seventh inning than Leclerc. I just don't think there is one. And so, with that being said, I cheer for him to do well every single game. And today, finally gets that ERA below 5. Thank you, Jose Leclerc. 4.97 ERA. It's going great. Leclerc, 1 inning pitch, 3 Ks, struck out the side today. Great performance from him to come in, relieving Mike Lorenzen. You know, at that point, it was a 5-0 ball game. So not a particularly pressureful outing for Jose Leclerc, but nevertheless, we'll take it, right? We've seen plenty of times Rangers guys come in with the lead and they automatically make it interesting, right? We had that happen several times in the past week. So for me, happy to see Jose Leclerc come in and really do well today, striking out the side. That dude has an absolutely filthy slider when he is on. Absolutely filthy. By the way, Garabito got into a little bit of trouble. That was getting dicey. Garabito loads the bases, but he is able to get Tim Anderson called out on strikes, then is able to get Otto Lopez to fly out. So this one's in the books. Ball game, baby. Rangers win 7-0. Garabito preserves the shutout, and we are back in the win column. Gotta love that. See, this is the score, and this is the kind of game. This is what we were supposed to be doing to the Marlins every game this series. So my hope is that we got that ugly one on Friday night out of our system, and now we're going to enjoy some success. So the Rangers win the second game. That means the rubber match of this series will be tomorrow, Sunday. Early start. Believe we are a 12:40 Texas time start tomorrow. We'll preview that matchup in just a little bit. But glad to see Garabito work around some trouble and not allow any runs there. That's huge, especially when you can get some situations where the game isn't on the line, but a reliever like Garabito, who is a rookie, who hasn't been in a lot of these moments, when he's getting a little bit of that pressure, I like it. I like that he was able to get through it today, face a little bit of adversity, and work around it. You didn't see Garabito have a complete meltdown when the bases got loaded. So I absolutely love seeing Garabito come in. Don't love that he got into trouble, but I love that he got into trouble and got out of it, and there wasn't a big meltdown. We've seen so many Rangers, young guys, pitchers, bullpen guys come in. They allow a hit, they allow a walk, and they pretty much start melting down right after that. And then you've got to bring in somebody that cleans up the mess. So really, really glad to see that Garabito comes in and does well. Inning pitch, 2 hits allowed, 1 walk. So Garabito loads the bases, does get a strikeout. ERA for Garabito in his young career down to 193. So Garabito looking pretty good so far in his young Rangers and young MLB career. We'll take it. But that 7th inning, to put a bow on that point, the Rangers have to get better in the 7th inning, both scoring runs, but also bridging to the 8th inning. Robertson, Yates, they need a 7th inning guy. It's got to be Leclerc. There's nobody else that I want in that 7th inning in a tough spot. Now, we do know that the Rangers have struggled. One of the big areas that they've struggled in is they have not been able to tack on runs late. They were able to do that today. They haven't had middle relief that has consistently been able to keep them in games. I think I've made the point a couple of times. The Rangers have struggled when they are down 1 or 2 runs, right? So it's not Rangers winning. It's Rangers are in the game, down 1, down 2. And the Rangers just have not consistently had a guy that can step up and keep them in those kinds of ball games. So last night is a perfect example. Last night's more than a perfect example. So you look at the box score, it's a 4-2 ball game going into the 7th inning. Rangers are down 2, and the Rangers have enough firepower. They have plenty of firepower to come back from 4-2. Okay? And it was 4-2 until the bottom of the 7th inning. So what the Rangers have lacked all season is a guy that can just keep them in these kinds of games. When it's a 4-2 ball game, you're behind, but you just need to give the offense a shot to stay in the game, come back, potentially steal a win. So promptly, Jesus Tinoco, right? We've been kind of hard on Tinoco of late. I know I put out a short vid about maybe 5-6 days ago when Tinoco was brought in a very, very pressureful situation, 1 or 2 run ball game in Minnesota. Don't know why Boch went to him, but nevertheless, didn't love the move. And look, in a game where we're losing, I still don't love Tinoco. Doesn't matter how many good starts that he can put together. When they're in between 2 or 3 bad starts, to me, I'm not happy or satisfied with that. The Rangers need consistency out of their sixth and seventh inning guys. And while it's great, I think Tinoco in the game before last night actually pitched pretty well. So he pitched against Arizona, went 1 2/3, only gave up 2 hits, struck out 2, no earned runs, no walks. But sandwiched on the outside of that great outing against Arizona, you've got Miami last night giving up 4 hits and 4 earned runs. And then against Minnesota, 1/3 inning pitched, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 1 walk. So to me, Tinoco's not consistent enough. Can he put together a nice game? Absolutely. But I need consistency in the 7th inning. And I'd really like to start seeing some guys step up in those situations where we're down 1, down 2. Don't want to use Leclerc because Leclerc is kind of your we're winning, we've got the lead kind of guy. You're not trying to bring Leclerc in a moment where we're losing. You want to save Leclerc, Robertson, Yates for when the game is tied or when we're winning. So I'm really looking for somebody to step up and be that close game guy when the Rangers are losing and just need a guy that can give the offense a chance to win the game by holding the opposing team and limiting them in the late innings. So putting a wrap on all this, the Rangers need to get better in the 7th inning and beyond, both pitching, getting depth in the bullpen, getting guys that can throw up zeros, whether we're ahead or slightly behind, and we need more runs. We need those insurance runs. We need more rallies from the offense late. And today, it was good to see the offense actually doing that. Let me check the comments real quick. Thank you to everybody, by the way, for tuning in. We've got TikTok going today. I've kind of started to get that up recently. I know I've got people coming in on YouTube. What's up to all you guys? Thanks for the comments. Appreciate you. Anybody watching on Facebook or X, good to see you today. Thanks for joining us after a 7-0 Rangers win. You got to love it. Pretty much a no-sweat game. I can't tell you that going into this game, I felt nervous or felt like not very confident that they were going to win. But anytime you see a left-handed starter going up against this Rangers team, I got to say it gives you pause. The Rangers have not done well against left-handed starters. And Ryan Weathers, the Marlins pitcher today, I think they were talking about it on the broadcast. Ryan Weathers had like a sub-2 ERA in his last 3 or 4 starts. So Ryan Weathers was low-key dealing the past 3-4 starts, the past, probably 3 weeks. So I was not so sure how the Rangers were going to fare against him today. I will tell you this, even though Marcus Semien makes the first out of the game, the fact that Semien completely obliterated, right, the ball that he got from Ryan Weathers in that first at bat, Jazz Chisholm made an outstanding play in center field to rob Semien of an extra base hit. To see Semien hit that ball very first inning, I'm going to pull it up right now, 100 miles off the bat. I mean, that ball was absolutely mashed. And I just felt to myself when that happened, this is going to be a good day for the Rangers. We're going to see some good swings today. And sure enough, Marcus Semien, 3 hits in his game today. Corey Seager, also 3 hits. Anytime you're getting 6 hits out of Semien and Seager at the top of the lineup, it's going to be pretty tough for the Rangers to lose ball games. I mean, I have no idea. I don't think that the two of them have combined for 6 hits like very, very often. But I will say this. Anytime you're getting 3 hits apiece from Semien and Seager, good things are going to happen, no doubt. So Semien, 3 hits today. Believe he had a double. Seager had a double as well. So 2 singles and a double for Marcus Semien and Corey Seager apiece. Good to see. Seags averages up to 270 on the year now. If you remember, that average for Corey Seager was dipping like into the 220s at one point. So to see Corey Seager coming back as strongly as he has over the last, 24 games. So now for Corey Seager's on-base streak, 24 games on base for Corey Seager in a row, and 14-game hitting streak for Corey Seager, pouring in 3 hits today. Seager was on base 4 different times in today's game. So 3 hits plus a walk. Corey Seager is in an absolute groove right now, and you love to see it. It's a big reason the Rangers have been able to win four of their past 5 games, excuse me, and hopefully it'll be 5 out of 6 after tomorrow. So what can you say? Corey Seager absolutely dialed in, locked in at the plate right now, and it sure would be nice if Simi joined him. So right now, Simi up to 256 with his average. Really need Marcus Semien getting on base a little bit more. Right now, Simi at a 307 on base percentage. It's climbing. But for a leadoff hitter, you need better than 307 OBP. And I know Simi knows that. We're not trying to come down on the guy after a great game today, but Semien has got to be better. We've got to have more than a 307 OBP with Marcus Semien. He's capable of so much more. You've seen what he can do. Today's game, the dude was just crushing the ball all over the park. So I hope that this is the start of good things for Marcus. Hopefully he can get on a little bit of a hot streak with Corey Seager. That would be super ideal. So good stuff from the top of the Rangers lineup today. Robbie Grossman. I'll tell you what, after that first at bat from Grossman, where he watched a lot of pitches, ultimately struck out on a called strike 3, I was really, in my mind, just trashing the decision to continue to hit him third. But I tried to hold my tongue, and sure enough, Grossman comes through with the 2-for-4 day today, drove in 2 runs. Yeah, also added in a walk as well. So Grossman's on base 3 times today and just totally made me bite my tongue because Robbie Grossman hitting third, just on paper, not my most favorite thing, even with the fact that he hits lefties well. And you know what? Grossman, I think the average might be creeping up around 300 now versus lefties, but he was coming in with a 275 average against lefties. Now, that's better than what a lot of the Rangers' averages are against lefties at this point. But my point is, that's not that flashy. 275 average, hitting less than 200 against righties. So for me, 275 average for your 3-hole hitter against lefties. I'm not too pumped about that, but Robbie Grossman absolutely made me eat my words today. He had a great game at the plate. And so hopefully Robbie Grossman can work out in the 3-hole. Now, when Josh Young comes back, he's probably going to be occupying that spot. That's not to say Robbie can't fit in the left-handed starter lineup at all. But Josh Young is probably going to be back to occupy that spot, the 3-hole against lefties when he comes back, whenever that may be. But got to give props, got to give some flowers to Robbie Grossman today. We were very down on him coming into the game today. Did not like seeing him hitting third. And this is why they pay Bruce Bochy and the coaching staff the big bucks to make better decisions than we would make. So Robbie Grossman comes in today and has a game where he gets on base 3 different times, drives in 2. Great game for Robbie. Dolly goes 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Not a great game for Dolly, but I will say this. His sac fly, I believe that was, let me check on this, in the top of the 3rd inning. That was a really impressive at bat. So even though Dolly strikes out 3 times today, I do want to highlight that really impressive at bat he had in the 3rd. So at that point, the Rangers had, I believe, runners on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. Prime opportunity to at least get 1 run when you've got 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. And the Rangers have struggled at times to work out that situational hitting where you're coming through with not necessarily a big base hit or an extra base hit or a home run, but you're just putting the ball in play and you're having a productive out. So Dolly gets down 0-2 in this at bat with runners on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, calls a timeout, and is able to work some extra pitches in the at bat. Eventually takes a pitch that was probably a ball high and outside, drives it to right field, and he's able to get the run across from 3rd base on a sac fly. That was a huge, huge at bat that gave the Rangers a 2-0 cushion. So even though Dolly doesn't have a great day in the box score, I really, really was impressed with that at bat from Adolis Garcia. Just seeing him work the pitches, work the count after being down 0-2 and still having a productive out, that is a good sign. You don't love the fact that he strikes out 3 times today. But with that being said, I absolutely think that at-bat was key for the Rangers, doubling their lead, giving them some cushion, and they never looked back from that point. So Dolly, 0 for 4, average down to 227 on the year. That was his 38th RBI of the season. So the RBIs still are coming for Dolly, which is a good thing. But you would like to see that average start creeping up. Does feel like Dolly is striking out a little bit too much. He did have a nice 3-walk game the other night. That was encouraging. But at the same time, I really do feel like Dolly needs to continue to improve his plate discipline, vision up there, strike out less, put the ball in play more. That's when Dolly is at his absolute best. Going down, Duran goes 0 for 3. Nate Lowe eventually subbed on. Nate Lowe goes 0 for 2. So the Rangers go a collective 0 for 5 from the 5-hole today. Nate Lowe just not in a great way right now. Getting benched against the lefty, which usually the Rangers don't do. They're not usually benching Nate Lowe against lefties. But Weather's kind of a tough lefty. Nate Lowe not going great right now. So I understand the decision to bench him. So Duran gets the start at first base today. And Duran hitting 278 on the year. I do think that he warrants getting some at-bats. I haven't been Zeke Duran's biggest fan this season. I do think he's a little bit too hot and cold as a hitter. You're going to get these stretches where he looks really, really good. It's kind of like Leote, honestly. Leote can look really, really good for stretches and then just look absolutely terrible for others. It's kind of what happened with both Leote and Duran last year, if you remember. They started out really hot. Leote was hitting over 300. Duran was hitting over 300. This is last year in 2023. Like kind of in May, even a little bit into June, both those guys, I think, were over 300. And then they just fell off an absolute cliff the rest of the season. So look, ride Duran while he's hot. That would be my opinion here. And they tried to do that today, giving him a little bit of first base time, giving Nate Lowe the day off. Didn't go according to plan. They go a collective 0 for 5 today. But I'm going to be interested to see if this becomes kind of the move with Nate Lowe. Are they going to look to continue to get Duran some at-bats and spell him at first base when there's a lefty starter? Spell Nate Lowe, that is. I wasn't something I was anticipating, but it might be the play if Nate Lowe continues to struggle. Now, let's go to Wyatt Langford. Another multi-hit day for him. Both singles. Again, we're being picky here. It's just good to see Wyatt Langford hitting the ball, getting base hits, getting on base. He is a problem on the base pass. Now, I don't know why the Rangers, and maybe the opportunities just haven't been there, but it is surprising that Wyatt Langford is only 1 stolen base on the year. Maybe he's just not a great reader out there. Base stealing is more than just speed. We know this, right? It's not just about being fast to steal bases. It helps, but you've got to have a good feel out there on the base pass. You got to be comfortable. You got to read the pitcher, his timing, the pitcher's breaks. So there is an art to it beyond just pure raw speed. So don't know if Wyatt Langford just isn't there yet with the confidence, with the reading ability out there stealing bases, but you would think he would have a little bit more than 1 stolen base at this point. But again, who knows? That could be for a number of different factors, the situations, just not presenting themselves for whatever reason. But it would be nice if they could tap into that speed a little bit more. Same thing with Evan Carter when he gets back healthy. You've got Evan Carter, like top 3 fastest guys in the league, right? They did advanced stats on like every player's speed. Evan Carter is like top 3 fastest in the league. So it's a little surprising to me they're not tapping in and stealing more bases, but it's hard. You don't know where all these guys are at with that ability because base stealing is more than just speed. Right? There's more to it than that, absolutely. So who knows where those players are at with that ability. But I would like to see the Rangers steal more bases with how much speed they have. Wyatt Langford especially. When that dude gets out and he is at a full dead sprint, he is just trucking, flying around those base paths. It is great to see. And today it did create a problem. So the throw comes in, hits Langford, goes into the dugout. The Rangers are able to get a run off a single when Langford was originally at first base. So when Wyatt Langford can get on base, it is a beautiful thing to watch him run around those bases, causing trouble out there, putting pressure on the defense. That's exactly what you want. Josh Smith hitting in the 7 spot today, goes 2 for 5. His average is up to 282 on the year. Leote goes 0 for with a walk, so he gets on base today, but had 2 strikeouts. And then Kisner, you got to love what you saw from Andrew Kisner today. He had I believe, hit with 2 strikes, was down to maybe an 0-2 or 1-2 count, able to get a line drive single. Not hitting a great average on the year. I think he's hitting about 130, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 130. Just looked that up. So not great from Kiz this year so far. But I will say this: if you're getting 1 for 3 with a run scored and an RBI out of your 9-hole spot, you'll take that, whoever it is. So I'm glad to see Kisner getting an opportunity today. Jonah Heim resting up. Glad to see him coming through, getting an RBI and producing out there from the 9th spot. So good for Andrew Kisner today. Glad to see that. Now, let's keep going. Let's look at the rest of the box score and then wrap up, and then we'll get to tomorrow's game. We'll preview that for you before we sign off for the day. Latz comes in after Leclerc strikes out the side, and he is able to get, actually, well, it was kind of a weird deal. Wasn't striking out the side. Leclerc came in the 7th with 1 out, got 1 out in the 8th inning. Latz finishes out the 8th inning, gets the final 2 outs of the 8th, strikes out 1, doesn't allow any base runners. And then Garabito comes in. We talked about Garabito already. Loaded the bases, but was able to keep his composure. Didn't allow any earned runs. Able to work out of the jam. Garabito's ERA down to 193 on the year. And I believe that was his second total. His second, not start, but appearance in the big leagues. I really do feel like, I'm going to check some comments here real quick. I really do feel like the biggest thing with Langford right now, again, we're glad to see the multi-hit games. So I think in his last 3 or 4 games, he's had 2 multi-hit days where he's collected 2 hits apiece. So we're happy to see that from Langford. Langford is hitting 229 on the year right now. Not excellent. So we'll take anything we can get from that spot, from Langford. But you know that Wyatt Langford is in a groove when he's hitting the ball in the gaps, driving the ball for extra base hits, hitting home runs. And right now, it's a lot of singles. I don't want to say like Langford's hits have been devoid of hard contact, but you're not seeing him smoke the ball right now. You're definitely seeing him get on base. Again, on a 2-hit day, don't want to be too overly critical, but I do feel like you're going to know Wyatt Langford is back when he is consistently driving the ball in the gaps and driving the ball out of the park. He does have raw power. That is a big part of his game. I'm hopeful that it will come sooner rather than later, but right now, the power isn't there for Langford, and I don't think that he's going to be totally like in a groove, right? Unlocked, whatever you want to call it, until that power stroke comes back. So I do agree. I would like to see Wyatt Langford start driving the ball more. But for now, I'll just take the multi-hit games. I mean, just keep doing that, dude. That's just fine. Beyond that, there's not a whole lot else we want to cover in the box score today. So 7-0 Rangers win, 13 hits today. Fun stuff from the Rangers. I always say this, it's a lot easier to get on these lives when the Rangers win a ball game. And it's always fun to go live during the game too and finish it out with you guys. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the matchup for tomorrow. So tomorrow's game is an early start, 12:40 Texas time, I believe. And we are going to be, looks like, throwing Andrew Heaney in that game. So we've got Andrew Heaney going up against Trevor Rogers. So Trevor Rogers is a lefty, and he is not having a good year, 5.65 ERA. However, last 7 games, last 15 games, especially not good. 6.82 ERA in his last 7 games. So I will say, not off to a great start. Hopefully the Rangers can take some confidence from the game today against the lefty starter who had been actually pitching pretty well in Ryan Weathers. Hopefully they can take the momentum from this game where they started against the lefty and bring it into the game tomorrow where they'll be facing Trevor Rogers, who I think in the past has shown that he has some quality and solid ability, but it's not there this year. 5.65 ERA. Andrew Heaney and Trevor Rogers have identical 1-6 records. It's still crazy to me that Andrew Heaney is 1-6. Just goes to show you how little pitching record really tells you about how a pitcher is doing in a given year. Andrew Heaney, 4.47 ERA. Look, it's not, shiny, spotless, but Andrew Heaney has pitched much better than the 1-6 record indicates. So hopefully tomorrow can be another game where Andrew Heaney gets a win. He got his first win of the season pitching in relief of, I believe, Nate Eovaldi last time out. So Evo made that start middle of last week, only went about 3 innings. Heaney came in relief. By the way, Andrew Heaney actually was drafted by the Marlins in the first round, I believe 2013, 2014 draft. So Andrew Heaney, maybe a little extra motivation, gets to go back to Miami, the team that drafted him in the first round to start his major league career. Hopefully he has a little extra fuel, a little extra behind every pitch, and he'll be lights out tomorrow and get the Rangers their second win of this series. Help the Rangers take this series against the Marlins before they go back home to Arlington to face the Detroit Tigers. And I believe that Skubal for the Tigers, their really, really good lefty, is going to be pitching on Monday or Tuesday, I believe. So the Rangers in a little bit of a stretch right now, facing a lot of lefties back to back to back. Like I said, this was a good confidence builder, facing a good lefty in Ryan Weathers today, hitting him hard. Hopefully this is the start of good things for the Rangers against lefty starters. Crossing our fingers, y'all, crossing our fingers. By the way, nobody announced yet for Monday's game in Detroit, but just looking at how things line up, I do think, again, Skubal, probable. And then I would, for Monday or Tuesday, and I'd imagine that Evo is probably going to be making a start at some point in the Tigers series as well. So there you go. There's the next few games coming up. The only other thing that I want to do is take a look at the numbers that the Rangers have, if any. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of numbers against Trevor Rogers, but let's check it out. See if any of the Rangers have faced Rogers in the past. It's not much. So by the way, we've had, looks like 8, 11, 19 total team career at bats against Rogers. We've got Semien 2 for 6, Seager 0 for 3, Nate Lowe 1 for 5, Josh Smith 0 for 2, Dolly 1 for 3. So very small sample size. Looks like in the one start that they did face against Rogers, kind of a mixed bag. On the other side, we've got Tim Anderson with 17 at bats off Andrew Heaney. Tim Anderson's not having a good year for the Marlins, but he's hitting 353 off of Andrew Heaney in his career. You've got Josh Bell 2 for 10 off Andrew Heaney in his career. We've got Berger 2 for 4 off Heaney. De La Cruz 0 for 2, and Rivera, the third baseman for the Marlins, 0 for 3. So not a lot of at-bats really collectively for either pitcher in either side. Marlins have more at-bats against Heaney than we do against Rogers. So who knows? I think, though, the fact that Rogers is having a little bit of a tough season so far, hopefully the Rangers can take advantage of that, jump on that, and we can get the offense continuing on a good roll going into that series with Detroit. Would be very, very ideal. By the way, the Tigers right now, as of today, looks like they are 28-30 on the season. When we played them earlier in the year, Tigers were a winning ball club. I want to say they were something like, 19-13, 19-14 when we played them. And we were able to win 3 out of 4, I believe. I think it was a 4-game series in Detroit, and we were able to win 3 out of 4 of those. So that was a good series. Hopefully the Rangers can do something similar when they face the Tigers Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I believe then Thursday is an off day for the Rangers. So they got an off day coming up here in a few days. Rangers have been spoiled with a lot of off days in this last 2-3 week stretch. So for Thursday off day, and then Friday, the Rangers will host the San Francisco Giants, who are playing 500 baseball on the year. So more fun interleague play coming up for the Rangers next weekend after a midweek series with the Detroit Tigers. So that is the Rangers schedule, the Rangers outlook for the next week or so. Should be fun. Rangers playing some good teams, some teams they don't play all the time, which I always enjoy. So tomorrow, let's get a series win in Miami, and then let's head back to Arlington, play some good baseball against the Tigers before the Giants come to town next weekend. That's the plan. So let's do an AL West roundup, shall we? And then let's take a look at the division standings. And then we are going to sign off for the day and enjoy the rest of this Saturday afternoon. So right now, we've got top of the first, Angels and Mariners 0-0 currently. So hopefully Mariners can take an L in that game. We'll be big Angels fans today as the Rangers try and make up some ground in the AL West. I think coming into today, the Mariners were 4 games above the Rangers, who are still in second place. Beyond that, I don't think there's a ton of other action going on right now. In fact, I think everybody else in the AL West is done except the Angels and Mariners. So today we had the Astros beating the Twins 5-2. Astros are now 26-33 on the season. And then the Athletics beat the Braves in Atlanta today to improve their record to 24-36. A couple of games behind the Astros, and that's the AL West roundup for you. Now let's look at the standings, which I believe are now updated. Rangers are 3.5 games back of the Mariners. They would creep up to 3 games with the Mariners loss today. So again, go Angels. Astros, 6 games, would bump up to 5.5 with the Mariners loss. And then the Oakland A's, 8.5 games back. They would bump up to 8 games with the Mariners loss. So that's what we got going on in the standings right now. I know it's not even worth looking at, but just for fun, wild card standings. Rangers are 4 games back in the wild card standings. A lot of baseball left to play. And like I said, if the Rangers can just hover around 500 for maybe the next, maybe the next 3-4 weeks until they get some more guys back from injury, that's going to go a long way. So for me, I really think that the Rangers are probably going to be able to tread water till then. If I'm making a bet, if I'm predicting right now, I think they'll be okay. They've got to take advantage of some of these series against what I would call non-elite teams. And the Rangers are not an elite team right now. They can be, especially when everybody comes back healthy. But the Rangers, not an elite team, but right now they are playing teams that are even less elite than they are, and they need to take advantage of these. The Giants series, the Detroit series, also, of course, this series with the Marlins. They're better than all 3 of those teams, in my opinion. Are they playing like it? No, not at this moment. But I do think the Rangers are better than all 3 of the teams that they are going to be playing in the coming week. And they need to start taking advantage of some of these series against subpar competition, especially competition that's below 500. Now, beyond that, I think we have got Stars game 6 tomorrow in Edmonton, I believe. So we'll be watching that. Edmonton, of course, taking the game yesterday. That was a little bit of a painful game to watch, y'all. Like I said, I turned it on after the Rangers game, hoping to get cheered up. It was not meant to be. Stars lose 3-1 to the Oilers yesterday. Looked a little lifeless at times. I know that's kind of the word being thrown around. I don't know if y'all saw Pete DeBoer in the interview after the game getting a little fiery when I think it was Tim Cowlishaw suggested that they looked a little lifeless in the second period. I mean, he wasn't wrong. It was a very lifeless second period. Stars only had 6 shots through 2 periods. That's not good. That's not good. I don't know how else you could really describe the effort beyond lifeless. But the Stars have been a really good road team. I'm excited to see them play tomorrow night. I think that they can get it done. And then that sets up a great game 7 on Tuesday. So we'll see. We'll be watching for sure. A little bit of a layoff now with the Dallas Mavs having clinched the Western Conference and an NBA Finals berth. You love to see it. Mavs have not been back to the finals since 2011, only the 3rd time as a franchise that they've been to the NBA Finals. Of course, there was 06. There was 11, and now 2024. You love it. I hope the Stars can join them in the Stanley Cup Finals. Wouldn't that be a special, special ride for the Dallas-Fort Worth area and DFW sports fans all over the country to have the Rangers in November and then the Stars and the Mavs in June? Wow, that would be incredible. Don't know, and I know I said I was going to look this up, but I don't know how often or if that's ever happened. Has there ever been a city that's had three? I know Tampa Bay is probably one of them. Maybe not three though, but I know Tampa Bay had like the Bucks and the Lightning one year. But to have three sports teams, professional sports teams, win a championship within a calendar year, that's pretty crazy. I know Tampa Bay did it with the Lightning and the Bucks. I don't know if any city has done three sports. That would be pretty wild if Dallas is able to pull it off. I would love to see it. So we'll be back at you tomorrow. We'll probably try and go live before the Stars game. Stars game tomorrow starts at 7 p.m. Texas time, 5 p.m. here in Vegas. So we'll probably try and go live before that Stars game. It's just easier that way. We're not, feeling like we got a screen watch or anything like that. We can have full attention on hockey. So we'll do live after the Rangers game tomorrow. Maybe an hour or two after the game comes to an end, but before the Stars game. And that's the plan. Lastly, y'all, I want to thank you once again for joining, for watching, for listening. If you're not subscribed to the channel, or if you're not following the account, I would greatly appreciate if you gave us a follow. If you subscribe, that would mean a lot. And also, if you know somebody who's a big Rangers fan, right? Doesn't matter what platform, what app they like to use the most. Right On Rangers, we're on pretty much all social media apps. So, hey, share this video with them. Share the account with them. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Continuing to grow this Rangers community we've got, getting good people together, talking Rangers baseball, but also talking baseball in general. I love it. So thank you for doing that. It means a lot. Don't think there's a whole lot else from around the league to talk about at this point. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to wrap things up for today. And as we always say here at Right On Rangers, God bless. Go Rangers. Hope y'all have a great rest of your Saturday and a good rest of the weekend ahead. Hope to see y'all tomorrow or sometime early next week. Bye now.